My brothers, we are under attack. Not from the forces of temptation, not from the forces of oppression, but from the forces of a giant alien cock. We are fighting to not get raped. My brothers, we have not dropped the soap, but we are being treated as though we have been. It is because of this that we must band together. Allow me to quote from the book of 1 Ridley, chapter 1 of verse 37. He who pours the lid upon the alien cock must make a useless sacrifice of himself.
Amen!
And you will know my name is the Dylan when I take my crowbar and break it up your candy ass.
Hallelujah!
Oh, God.
Praise the Dylan! Hallelujah!
Cave Johnson, that was brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome.
In 1979, we discovered in space, no one can hear you scream. In 1992, we will discover on Earth, everyone can hear you scream.
After the commercial and critical success of Aliens, a sequel would follow years later in 1992. This time in the director's chair was David Fincher, his big budget debut. Before that, he had been mostly known for doing music videos. However, his first big motion picture experience was not going to be a happy one. Constant fighting with the studio led to him not being able to do a final cut. A re-edited version of the film known as the Assembly Cut was released in 2003, going on with the DVD release of Alien 3, but Fincher had no involved, and since then has mostly disowned the whole film, not even appearing in the interviews for the DVD. Sigourney Weaver returns, of course, getting a rather large paycheck. In the composer's chair was Elliot Goldenthal, and I guess it's kind of evident when you read about watching the film and also reading about what went on behind the scenes, is that this was a movie that kind of went through a development hell with many, many scripts being developed, one which included Michael Biehn Hicks as the main character. So, and in fact, one of the early teasers promised that the film would be set on Earth. Such was not the case. Instead, we're set on a prison colony planet known as Fury 161, a penal colony, that is. So now we're going to be talking about Alien 3. It's 3 times the suspense, 3 times the danger, and 3 times the betrayal. I'm Darkside. This is Axis of Action, and joining me today is
Average Gamer.
Cave Johnson.
Sergey.
Redman?
And we shall now begin. So, Alien 3 raises the question if this is actually worse than a prison shower.
I don't know.
Betrayal! It has to be sad.
I think one of the things that, I remember watching this on television a number of years ago, and this was after I'd gotten, to see Aliens and, get familiar with all these different characters. Is just it seems so messy, for what it is, that there's this interesting set. The film looks great. You got some pretty awesome actors in this, including fellow plays, I believe Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones. I don't remember his name offhand, but
Peter Postlewaite, the late Peter Postlewaite.
Yeah, the late Pete Postlewaite.
Paul McGann.
Paul McGann. Charles S. Dutton. Just a good cast and potential. Good looking production overall. Just nothing much happens beyond what you've kind of already seen in most Alien films, and then spoilers: Ripley dies.
Almost every recurring character dies.
So I don't know. To me, it's kind of funny because it's sort of like, in the sense of giving closure, I could understand the reason for it existing, but then again, is that really what the studio wanted to do? In terms of this kind of thing, like they have a profitable franchise, so they want to put a stake through its heart. I don't understand that. Yeah.
What a better? Come on. There's no better way to end a series than killing off every single character.
And also not to mention, if you are going to end the series, why not end it on a really good high note? And that
we just have to kill them all. I know. What is that nonsense?
I think what immediately lets the most immediate thing which makes many people, including myself, dislike the film is that you have Aliens, which is a perfect movie, ends great, happy ending.
For the most part.
For the most part, most of the Marines die. All the Marines die except for Hicks. But it was the perfect way because we've seen Ripley go through this character development, this change from the first film.
Character arc.
Yep. And then 5 minutes into, well, not the first, couple minutes of this.
5 minutes into Aliens 3, the entire character arc is flushed down the toilet and never to be mentioned again.
Hicks is dead. Bishop is cut in half. Well, not really cut in half. He's already cut in half, but he's non-functional.
He gets more fucked up than he already is, basically.
Yep. And Newt is dead. So, great
job.
Sorry. Great job. You just killed off the surviving characters that we liked.
What about the rights of that little girl?
What about the life of that little girl, McGarnagle?
What? Were they too cheap that they didn't want to pay Michael Biehn to come back? Oh, I guess because it needed to be just Sigourney Weaver. It had to be her show.
Well, I mean, she got paid something like over $2 million to take the role on again, as I recall.
And she was one of the producers, I believe.
Yeah. But my question is this: is that you raised a lot of questions. How it doesn't have to have a good beginning. Okay, how does an egg get onto the ship? We know that the Queen is on top of the ship whilst they were escaping.
Block contrivance.
She put a face hugger in her purse.
Okay.
She never leaves home without it.
My other question is this: how? Forgive me, I guess it's been a while, but how did how was there an embryo in Ripley? That's my question.
She got raped while she was sleeping.
Patrick, insert make love until we wake up.
Wow.
The
opening.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So, well, I was going to say, the opening sequence is a bit confusing. It's very hastily edited, or a lot of quick cuts. You see this face hugger, you see
Michael Bay style.
Yeah, and you see that there's some kind of a fire alarm activated. Ripley's sleeping pod is ejected from one section of where it is to some other different section, but then I don't know exactly how that works when the whole part of the
Science.
ship is jettisoned from the Sulaco, and so it's a little bit unclear because you see everything that happens that so you understand how Hicks dies, you understand how Newt dies, but it's a little bit weird how Ripley gets this facehugger on her when we don't really see anything happen to her sleeping pod that allows the alien access. So I don't know.
To answer all your questions, plot contrivance.
Yeah. So
I think another, just from my point of view, I'll get your guys' opinion on this. This film, it tried to do something different with the alien effects, and it didn't quite come off well. This time they used, they didn't use the life-size puppet for many of the shots. Or a guy in a suit, but this time they used a miniature stop-motion puppet. I believe it was done by the same guys who did the stop-motion effects for the RoboCop movies. And filmed in front of
Alec Ellis and Tom Woodruff Jr.
I believe so. I believe that's who they are. I hope. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they don't want to be associated with this movie. But they filmed it in front of a blue screen, and they edit into the movie, and it doesn't look right because I don't think the lighting, it didn't match the lighting in the scene, so it's clearly obviously out of place. So that's I guess another negative on its side. Just besides killing off Hicks and Newt, it doesn't. The alien effects in this movie aren't that great.
I think a big problem is also with this film is that it doesn't do a good job introducing the characters. I mean, you get a group of characters, and essentially you don't need have to name them anymore. It's just pretty much victim 1, victim 2, victim 3, victim 4, and they're not redeeming. It's like there's really no concern for them because many of them are scumbags. So it's like, okay, why should I care about this character? A flaw that has not happened in the first two films. You really care for most of the characters. You know them, understand them, and you love them. And so when they die, like Bill Paxton's character, he can be considered annoying, but you still care for him. You feel something. Here, it's like whatever.
Yeah. It's not to a slasher movie, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's in more ways than one. I mean, we've got essentially the thing that was the first Alien film relies on this sort of I mean it's not a literal rape, but it's this imagery that you can associate very clearly with rape.
Attack of the Penis Monsters.
Attack of the Penis Monsters.
Yeah, isolation. The first film's really about isolation. The second
Right.
film has really, in the sense that you have these extremely masculine figures, male and female, and against this one woman that's pretty much very feminine.
Yeah, and you have family dynamics basically going on. You've taken out the sexual stuff as being a source of horror, and it's become more of a normative kind of thing. And then you have sort of this weird, vaguely religious kind of dimension going on where all the prisoners have vowed celibacy. And Ripley's introduction into the environment causes them to be tempted, I guess, to go back to their standard raping ways. Yeah. So it's sort of a weird kind of progression in terms of going backwards in sexuality. So.
Yeah. And what's really a shame is that with the third film, they have to hate this repeated, but it's a prison. What else you have to say more? Just so many jokes about a prison that it just becomes a slasher film. It's kind of funny that you thinking about how much slash is going on in it. It's kind of like, where's the mask and the machete?
It's definitely the glorious of the Alien movies.
Yep.
Even Even
I could-
Resurrection?
I'd argue that Resurrection gets a little bit more gory at parts, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of visceral goo.
If they were
going on
allowed
in
to use
this one.
the full new autopsy scene, then it would be the goriest.
Like I know that the scene where they're trying to lure the alien into so they can pull the hot lead on it. You know, the guy's running and he's like, "Come on, run!" And what the alien just like comes out of nowhere, grabs him, and it's basically just rips him apart.
Right.
So
He went to pieces.
I fall to pieces.
Okay, now the question is, how could the film been made better?
if Hicks and Newt were still alive,
Yeah.
that's
a great
one.
question.
Or if it was not made in the first place.
Yeah.
There you
But,
go.
but
I
yeah,
think it probably would have been interesting if Newt was alive, if Hicks died, but Newt was alive, and now she's trapped in a prison with this little girl full of pedophiles and rapists, and now not only does she have to defend herself from the aliens, but from the prisoners as well.
She has to defend herself from creepy Paul McGann.
But I think would have been interesting is that this would have been really gutsy and very risky and might have hurt the film further, is that why not have no Ripley at all and you have Hicks become the main character in a sense.
But that was the intention, but
Yeah, but it would have been just instead of it would have been interesting. As I know this is going to cause some flack for me, but the Colonial Marines, the new game that came out, it's garbage. But the thing is, though, it had an interesting idea for a story. Is that why not have kind of like a conspiracy going on, and there's just continued struggle and effort to get a alien specimen, and instead we'll move away from Ripley and Hicks because, in the sense that their story arc is finished and complete with the second film, why not focus on new characters so they can develop, and it's an interesting perspective. That's all I think. Yeah, no words for this film. No words.
Yeah, well,
No,
I mean, it's a very silent film, in a lot of ways. It's just set pieces. Somebody gets eaten. We see people suspicious of Ripley. Somebody
rinse
gets
and
eaten.
repeat.
Yeah, rinse and repeat. So.
It would have been funny if you think about it. It would have been like kind of like one of those old films where it's all silent film, and you have the words like this. You see this person talk. You just see the mouth talk move, and then the next screen is this the words, the text, what the guy's saying. That would have been kind of funny. And it's just the alien starts eating the guy, and in the next screen it goes black. So I think it's disappointing is that you have Ripley die. It's an admirable death because she knows what's going to happen. She sacrifices herself, but the flaw is that it's not a good movie.
And if you had to choose between this or Alien and Resurrection to end the series, I would definitely choose this. And also it ends with at the very end we hear Ripley's original message from the end of Alien, which he says, this is Ripley, last survivor of the Nostromo, signing out, or something like that. So it definitely was a better cap on the series than Alien Resurrection. But then again, Aliens really should have been the end of it. But if you have to choose, definitely go with Alien 3 over Resurrection.
Yeah, it would have been just cool to see more things. I mean, for example, Bishop. It would have been cool to see Bishop kicking butt again. Oh, sure, he's crippled because he has no legs now. But the thing is, though, is that given how much development he gets in the second film, and he gets actually vindication with Ripley, that it would have been really cool to see what he would have been able to do in the film in his state. He's damaged. And it would have been see how he fights back without the alien. It would have been an interesting way of doing it. And it would have been an interesting way is also that he's the only character that Ripley can truly trust. So,
be a nice little parallel to the original film.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk some positives about the movie. Like you said, it looks great. I think David Fincher did a really great job. directing it. It's a shame that he had to go through, his first film, and he had to deal with all the Hollywood studio bullshit that Ridley Scott and James Cameron were lucky to avoid. And Elliot Goldenthal's music is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean the speaking of the music, I mean I don't know if this is all the commercials, but that they tend to use his little stinger in that first scene when the alien in this film confronts Ripley. They use that to advertise the Alien box set. So, which is, I mean, it's an effective little piece that he does. So,
I think what's also nice is that they really also expand on the creatures of the alien. It's now no longer like a humanoid alien. It's now a bull alien, a dog alien, if I recall correctly. And so
in two different cuts. In one cut it's a dog, in one cut it's a bull, I think.
Oh, okay. But regardless, it's still a great way of just expanding. It shows that the alien in itself, it goes through a metamorphic change, a transformation that from things due to the creature it impregnates, and if it makes sense. So it's no longer a humanoid. It's a four-legged creature instead of a two-legged creature, and that's, I think, a really neat way of exploring the alien's genetics, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't really guys, I really don't know what else to say about Alien 3. It's sort of like it is sort of a rehash of the first Alien movie. We're down to one. We're in a enclosed facility of some kind. Well, in the first one it was a spaceship, and now we're in a prison. Anything else we can say about Alien 3? Betrayal.
And I think also
I wouldn't call it that.
I'll call it that.
Alien Resurrection, fuck yeah, that's a betrayal. But
I think what might makes it give it so much criticism, people can call scream out betrayal, is that I think it's disappointing. You talk about two movies that are still defining how sci-fi movies, sci-fi horror movies, and games are made to this day. Movies and films and games are defined to this day, and then all of a sudden it goes to this mediocre film, meh. And in a sense, it's just as bad. I remember a comment someplace, someone discussing about a mediocre game, that what arguably makes them worse than a bad game is that with a mediocre game, you see so many opportunities missed to make it even better. Like, for example, here's this, okay, it's a prison scene. Okay, it goes with the idea of the premise of the whole series is that, okay, a horror rape, it's kind of like it's a horrifying thing, and it goes through all these scenarios like where it could possibly happen, and it misses that, and then you have it goes through it again. It becomes a slasher flick instead of a movie where you see further development of Ripley, Bishop, Hicks, and the Newt. And I think it's a shame that they kill off Newt, because it's kind of like it goes across as that one line in a lot of films and comics and games, that is, you don't kill off a child actor or character.
What about the rights of that little girl?
Yeah. Well, and speaking of development, I mean, it's in a certain sense. I mean, they kind of they kind of brought it on themselves, because Sigourney Weaver, from the beginning had said, she was even reluctant to do Aliens initially because she didn't feel like there was any way for Ripley to be developed further as a character, and James Cameron had an interesting idea that she was on board for. So in this case, it was just, big fatty paycheck, but there's really no development of her character. And if you look at Alien Resurrection, there's even less, she's hardly even a person, in that movie. So
she needed a boat. She needed a new boat.
Right.
Boats are not cheap, people.
All right. Well, finally, I think we can all say that this is the worst movie about penis monsters impregnating a woman with a hermaphrodite penis monster I've ever seen. But at least it's not Alien Resurrection.
No,
Alien Desecration.
I think the worst movie about alien rape and penis monsters is definitely the next one.
That's why I said at least it's not
Yeah.
Alien Resurrection.
Ah, sorry.
Gotcha.
But
Ah.
what else is there to say? I don't know. Bishop. I think what also is bad is like the original Bishop. I'm putting quotations around it at the end. Bishop 2, they call it in Wikipedia script. Is that he's bad? So okay, great. Now they take away another character that not only did they kill off that character, but they replace him as the bad guy. It's like, really?
And he got to do his no.
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 No, not that.
No.
I'm not a droid. I'm not a droid. I am a human being.
I'm not an animal. I am a man.
No one, this could have made better. Nicolas Cage as one of the prisoners. I think it would just add to just the mind screwery that's going on in this film.
He's scraping at the door. He's scraping at the door.
I'm an alien. I'm an alien.
Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, he make him give Nicolas Cage the Paul McGann role as the really crazy one.
Or maybe like after their scheme to set the alien on fire goes out of control and he sees somebody who died. He's like, how'd he get burned? How'd he get burned? How'd he get burned?
They should also do on the line, not the bees. I don't know how you would change it, but it's in my eyes. It's my eyes.
They should have Nicolas Cage punch out Sigourney Weaver. Just running around in a bear costume, punches her out.
Or dressed in like the alien, like in an alien suit, just went up to her. What the? Hits her.
So what is this thing we're dealing with, Ripley? Well, phallic symbol. Phallic symbol. Phallic symbol.
Someone's trying to kill me, man. Who? The fucking alien.
So
who sent you? Wait, who sent you, man? Huh? Who sent you? Ridley Scott. Ah!
Shoot the alien again. His soul is still dancing.
What is this facehugger doing on my desk? They're not on your desk. There's nothing on your desk. They're right there.
I can eat an alien for hours.
Well, this discussion really went downhill fast.
Well, there's nothing to say. That's the shame of it. It's like it's okay. It's a mediocre film. That's the shame of it. It's a painful thing. There's nothing really to say. We really talked ourselves out of the film. It's like there's not. If there was developing more characters, it would have been more significant. There's some great heroism scenes great scenes of sacrifice, but that's it. It's like, why should we care about these prisoners?
It's
the
Alien.
murderers.
It's Alien 3. Meh. There you go.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up then.
One thing that I will say is a positive about this is that the Wikipedia entry for Alien 3 is very interesting and makes for a really good read, and I highly recommend that.
So, Alien 3, the best thing about it is a good Wikipedia page. The end.
Party in the county jail. Prison man was there that began to wail. The band was jumping and the drum began to swing. Should have heard this knocked out jailbird sing. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody on the whole cell block. Who's dancing to the jailhouse rock? Spider Murphy played the tenor saxophone. Little Joe was blowing on the slide trombone. The drummer boy from Illinois crash boom bang. The whole rhythm section was purple. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody on the whole cell block was dancing to the jailhouse rock.
After the success of Ridley Scott's first, fuck.
Dark Side, is your Tourette back to go again?
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I meant to say alien, and not Ridley Scott. Jesus Christ. See. Oh no, Patrick, that does not go in. That does not go in. That goes in.
That's what he said.
This
Oh,
professional.
God.
There should be a blooper reel. That should
No,
be on the blooper
geez.
reel.
Patrick, that goes
Yeah.
in. Our professional
Axis of
relationship is
action.
over.
Do it. Yeah, do it. Put it in. Put in a blooper reel.
No. That's
Yes. Yes.
Patrick,
Dark, don't worry about it. You're
Patrick,
cool.
Patrick. If that goes in, our professional relationship is over. This
That's fine.
relationship is over.
You and me are done professionally.
But romantically,
Don't be a
What
negative
don't
Nancy.
you
Cal.
fucking understand?
Don't be a negative Nancy, Cal. You're being a negative Nancy.